How would you prioritise a large and complex caseload? In this question, there's various things that you could think about. For me, I've answered this by thinking that I'd prioritise and deal with the most in need first. That's just showing that you're aware that sometimes you need to do that, and that is the reality of social work. Day to day, you need to change your approach and what you were going to do, and you need to show that you are flexible. It might be that you say that you look at ceasing involvement with those who don't need my involvement in a timely manner. That means two things really: not being paternalistic and thinking, is my involvement really benefiting this person's quality of life? That means things like that you might think that you're doing a lot of good, but the person actually feels that now they want to take more control of their own life, and that you're not actually providing any value, and you need to recognise when that's the time that you need to stop being involved. But equally, you need to not be oblivious to needs or risks. So it is a careful balance, and that's why we need to be reflective. Making a point like that on top of what you've just said is really useful. To prioritise, you'd need to look at what wider support is available to the person rather than just what you can provide. So that's where you'd consider the resources like housing, support workers, district nurses, and where you can signpost people towards. You do need to have a time management strategy. And if you have got a really good strategy that you've used before, you could bring that up as a brief example just to back up what you're saying. So for example, I use a table on Microsoft Word that helps me prioritise my work using a colour coding system, and sometimes I'd throw that in there. Discuss your caseload with a manager and get supervision, formal and informal. You need to block out admin time and then maybe say something about seeking management advice about how to prioritise your work. Also thinking about how you plan your visits to cut down travel time. You could say or use a brief example about how even when you were under time pressure, you were still able to ensure good outcomes for the people you were involved with supporting. And you just need to show that even when you are stressed, you recognise the importance of reflection and thinking about well-being as well. You could actually as well bring up something to say you are aware that social work is a stressful job. When you feel that things are getting out of control, that can put you in a state of toxic stress, and that's just to show your knowledge of that really, and that you do understand how important it is that you do prioritise your caseload